What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Constantly Off-traK. I am joined here today by Kaz, and I am Kid. You can find all our descriptions or all our links in the description.
All descriptions.
We can't edit this.
Unfortunately, no. All my work is done
Live. And you get to witness all his editing performances in real time. You know, I've gotten a lot of people asking me lately, though, since I started getting more on streaming. A bunch of different streamers that I'm friends with. Hey, who does your editing? Who does this? I checked out your channel, blah, 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 blah. And they're just sending your link from Facebook and Twitter to them. I'm surprised you haven't gotten any messaging or anything like that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm okay at it. Main thing is, I did it in school, right? Took some classes, went through image editing, went through video editing, went through website coding, and I haven't been able to use it ever since. So when you came to me with the opportunity to work on the channel the first time around, I was like, fuck yeah, I finally
Might as well. But no, I'm surprised. Like, I don't know who it was, off the top of my head now. But I messaged him for a few days, and
our mics are muted.
Mine is not.
Yours is not? Yours is not. Hey, guess what? I suck at this.
Have you been muted this whole time?
I've been muted this whole time. No one's heard a word I said. You can catch all this expert editing skill here on Kid's channel.
You're starting your own channel now, aren't you?
I am.
When is that going to be a thing?
Oh, here soon-ish. The channel's set up. I don't have any content to go on it yet. I'm working on possibly doing an ARC series with Blaze.
You know, I just recently became friends with him on Facebook, even though I've known him for about half the time I've known you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And his brother sent me a friend request a while ago, and I don't know him all as much as I know Blaze, so I haven't accepted it quite yet.
I didn't know you met his brother.
Yeah, a few times. Back when I had the apartment, when you and him were hanging out more, when I think Blaze was out on tour still, and you and his brother were hanging out.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And you brought him over a couple times. That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
And he would have still been in school.
No. It wasn't long after he graduated, but he had graduated.
Well, then there you go. All right, so today we're talking about movies. Spoiler alert now for No Way Home.
Matrix Resurrection.
Matrix Rebirth.
Resurrections.
Or is it Resurrection?
Yeah, Resurrections.
I don't care. I didn't.
There's an S on the end of that.
Obviously, it didn't put that much of an impression on me to remember. And then
Fair.
the dumpster fire of Raccoon City.
Not to worry, though, if you don't want spoilers on anything that we're going to talk about, we will have images on the screen. Not spoilery images, just something to show you what we're talking about at the time we're talking about it. If you want to go ahead and mute, you can do that, and then you can unmute as soon as the image changes. You'll be good to go.
I will say, though, as far as Raccoon City, don't worry about spoilers. We watched it so you didn't have to.
Yeah. It's not really don't worry about spoilers. It's just don't worry about watching this fucking movie.
Yeah, it's bad. And if you've already watched it, please find a good therapist. Contact your local government agency. Maybe they can help you brainwash and forget that you ever watched it to begin with. I am sorry. Because I know I'm sorry for fucking watching it.
Terrible. just terrible.
It was horrible. I have an error on YouTube, by the way.
You have an error? What did I do? What error? What? YouTube's working.
Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience...
Oh, the quality went down. Wonder why that happened.
Yeah, well, it's still streaming. Whatever.
Yeah, it's still going. I mean, everything's kind of choppy. Here, look.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing how choppy it is right now.
That's really fucking weird. I don't know why that happened. By the way, we cuss a lot. I put that in the description just in case, but you know, that's a thing that's gonna happen. So
we're adults. We have earned the right.
Well, we try. So if you got little kitties around, maybe use headphones. Just saying.
Your kids are watching. That's just bad parenting.
I mean, everybody's got a different style.
It keeps cutting out.
You mean?
Because of the things and reasons we don't know yet, but we'll figure that out in the long run. This is just the first episode.
Yeah, this is kind of a learn as we go type of experiment.
We've got a bunch more running now than we did in the test run. Don't we? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We've got a shit ton more running now than we did in the test run. So
Because now's the actual show.
exactly. We're doing this today. This is everything here that's being said now will stay here forever.
Well, as long as YouTube lets it.
That's fair.
Or rather, Google.
They may just decide, yeah, these guys aren't worth it. And
It's
just
like,
shut us
that
up for
dude
good.
says fuck a lot. I don't like it.
Oh, shit. So which one should we get out of the way first?
Oh, well, I mean, we've got a lot of terrible options.
We got
And by a lot, I mean
options.
two.
Here's something I wanted to look at. I don't remember what it was now. I wanted to share it with you before we started. And,
Now I'm afraid.
oh yeah, The Matrix. Okay. So, go
So,
ahead and get that
starting
one
with The
out of way,
Matrix?
because
Alright, we
it's-
will start with The
It is
Matrix.
on my head, and before we just start discussing the movie, I kind of wanted to go over a theory that I wanted to hear your opinion on.
Okay, shoot.
There was never a war. Hear me out. The machines aren't the bad guys. It's the humans. Or at least the resistance, quote unquote. So, the simulation, the Matrix, was actually created, I feel, and this is a theory that I decided to look up into, by us, because the world is being destroyed by our own hands, like it is today, obviously. I mean, pollution, nuclear reactions, the whole nine, you know. We're killing our Earth, period. And so, to rebuild the Earth, we have created machines to take over for us, kind of clean up the Earth for us, while we're asleep in our own simulation built by us called Matrix. Some of the newborns that are being created as others die off, you know, I mean, obviously you're not going to live forever inside this tube.
Right.
So, I mean, they're pretty much building humans as well, just like they do in the movies.
So
to
still
keep the
test tube
population
babies.
They don't understand, or at least their brains don't understand what's really going on. And so they reject the system, find a way out, break out, and they've created the resistance. And they're fighting these machines because they were around when the humans decided to go, oh, well, we need to go to sleep now and live in this, you know, computer world that we've created so we can reform the Earth properly and be able to come back to a clean world. And so now all these newcomers are thinking the machines are evil when they're not. They're actually the bad guys.
Small problem. The machines actually hunt humans in the movies.
Exactly. I would want to hunt you too if you were trying to destroy my perfect computer while my Earth is being rebuilt.
Okay, but the machines have not only the capability to survive in the place that they're in, they can also move wherever they want. They've got the entirety of the Earth's surface.
Just saying.
So, I mean, they didn't really have to fight.
Well,
And it seems kind of weird
they're
that
protecting their creators. Think about
their
it.
creators are no longer alive.
They don't know that.
How would they not know
They've
that?
just been giving a program to keep going.
Right, but these machines would have been maintaining all of human life. They would know which ones are dead, how long they've been dead, when to grow new ones, how long the new ones have been alive, when the new ones are ready, blah, blah, blah. They would know when the originals fucking died.
I'm just saying it's a theory.
I feel like this is a theory just to justify a terrible movie.
No, I'm not talking about the new movie. This
Well,
is just a theory for the original trilogy.
No, I get that, but I
Maybe
mean,
it's
if
a
you take this
story.
theory into account, you can justify all the weird things that they're doing with the machines in the real world.
Yeah. Well, why did Morpheus name his ship the Nebuchadnezzar?
Nebuchadnezzar.
Whatever. Anyway, so Nebuchadnezzar is actually a spiritual plane led by the demon god of war.
Okay.
Why would you name your ship that if you're leading a resistance for
Because it's a war. They're fighting a war on their warship.
It was a horrible fucking place to be if you actually look into this plane. It's not just... I mean, it was horrible. No, I would not name my ship that just to lead a war, quote-unquote, because it puts a bad impression. I don't know. Look into it. Tell me what you think later. But
I don't know. I
thought it was a really fun theory to look into.
Probably you take into account that they are fighting a war. This is a ship, so war, ship. There you go. That's how those words line up. And then you got the Wachowskis, who probably just thought that Nebuchadnezzar was a badass name, which it kind of is.
Kind of is, yeah.
It's got all the sounds you want in a cool word.
just one cool word. No big deal. It's just a word. I just thought it was.
I mean, what's your ship got? Mine's got a name with 2 Z's in the middle. Fuck you.
I'm just saying, it's something to look into if you're interested. I didn't look too much into the theory itself because I just saw it yesterday.
Well, I'll grant you this: the theory itself is way more interesting, given what you just told me. If that was the entirety of the theory and there's nothing else beyond that, that is still more interesting than the entire 2-hour fucking shit show that I sat through. This movie is fucking terrible, but it had potential. There was so many chances for greatness with this bullshit, and they squandered it every step of the way.
No, I enjoyed the movie for what it was, a movie.
I couldn't even enjoy it for that.
However, story-wise, being a 90s kid growing up with The Matrix, watching all 3 movies as they came out, and just delving into it as a kid, I was looking for that nostalgia.
Did you just say delving?
Yeah, like I dwelled into...
Delve.
Whatever.
I'm going to get you a dictionary.
I was looking for that nostalgic feel to bring me back to the original series. And it failed miserably.
There was just no there. They tried to build up so much other shit around what was already happening. They had stories they could follow, but they decide, no, you know what we're going to do? We're going to shit on Morpheus. We're going to remove Niobe from Niobe and make her just a shell of a character. We're going to take away Neo's powers, and we're going to give him to Trinity, and he can only use his full power when he's near Trinity. Because, the one is no longer the one is the two, because...
I was going to say the two. It's...
That alone made no sense.
And what is, that's what I don't get. What is, I didn't look too much into it, because at this point I'm just kind of sick of it. But is there a reason to why Neo wasn't able to use his powers when... maybe the whole love angle, but is it just the love angle? Or I don't know if I'm just getting too deep into figuring out the lore into this movie.
No, it's that the one is no longer just Neo, because he's not whole unless he's with Trinity.
So it's the love angle.
I mean, sort of. It's not as sappy as that. They go a little deeper, so I'll give them a little credit there. But I mean, still, it is what it is.
Love saves all people.
Yeah, fuck that.
Straight from Cass's mouth.
I did not say that. Those words did not come out of my mouth.
It could be worse.
And I swear to God, if my mic is still not broadcasting, then it looks like it is. I can't hear myself, so I'm just gonna have to trust it.
He's got his phone up to his ear right now. Can you hear yourself?
Okay, I'm checking the stream. I can hear myself just fine. I can't hear you very well. You're like echoing through the room.
What the fuck?
Did you push the button to unmute your mic?
No, my mic died.
Your mic died?
No, it came unplugged. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. So no idea how long that's been like that.
Oh well, shit happens. Live. This is the whole live part. This is cord is like plug-in is like really loose. Is it?
Yeah, we should probably get like some zip ties or something just to attach it there. That way it's got some give and won't come out.
That's what she said.
I want to tell Mom something.
Go back to the playroom. Mom went outside. Go back to the playroom. Okay. Children.
Oh, it's Martin Luther King Day, everyone.
Oh, is
so
it?
no school.
Is that why?
That's why.
Oh.
Yeah, no one told me. I can't remember all federal fucking holidays.
Neither can I.
I barely remember the big ones. So I take my son. We go to school. There's nobody fucking
you
there.
really go to
There's-
school
There's
this
no
morning?
cars. They didn't have the crosswalk person there. We were almost late, so I figured she just went in and there were no cars. 'Cause
Right.
It was like 2 minutes to the bell. And he runs up to the door, tries to open it. The door's locked. There's just the regular lights on. There's no backpacks hanging up. So he comes back out to the car. I get my phone out, thinking, okay, maybe we missed a call from the school. Maybe because
Random snow day with no snow on the ground.
Well, no. If the wind chill is too low,
Yeah.
then they'll cancel school. But I can't remember how low it has to get. All I know is it was in the 20s this morning, at the very highest. And I'm going through my phone. I don't see anything. So I go to the website. I'm like, okay, we must have missed something. Right there on the website, first thing, the calendar, today, 17th, Martin Luther King Day, no school.
Jesus. See, I found out yesterday, we went to that father-daughter dance. And when Joyce's mom came to drop her off, she's like, can I have her Monday? And I'm like, no, she's got school. No, it's in service. I'm like, that's not going to sit well with me because I've got to do this fucking podcast. What? I didn't even know until you just said something that it was Martin Luther King Day. I seriously didn't know. I just realized that. I thought it was just an ordinary in-service at school.
Nope.
And I figured
it's a holiday.
Wichita kids go to school today, just not ours, because in-service, no. So
Nope.
Thank you for letting me know. Now I'll remember next year. Probably not.
Nope. I can't fit all that shit
No.
in my head. I've got too much useless shit to put any more useful shit in there.
That makes sense. And this is us getting off track.
Right, we're supposed to be talking about the Matrix. That's what's on the fucking screen. I mean, it's right there in front of me.
I was about to say, shit, it's here in front of me too. So. Is it even really worth talking about though? Like you had a whole list of things. I didn't have a whole list of things.
You know what? I do have that fucking list. Where the hell is it?
Why don't you just bullet point this? Because I didn't make a list of things at all. I honestly don't even. I should have just rewatched the movie this weekend because I don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah, here we go. This should be the title of this list. I really wanted to like this movie. It's one of the most important points on this whole thing.
I mean, I did too, but you see how that worked out.
Oh, one of the biggest problems. All the fucking montages. Every chance they got, every break they could get, it's montage here, montage there. Hey, remember this? Hey, remember that? We're going to reference it. Oh, hey, this is the reference. Here you go. Fan service.
It's like they didn't think that we could, as viewers and adults, would be able to just, backtrack to the last 3 movies and rewatch them before this one came out. Like, I'm pretty sure 85, maybe more than that, % of the population decided to do before they went to go see this shit show.
Well, the thing there is, even if you're making a sequel, what you want to do is you want to write a movie that will sustain itself. Like, you can watch this movie and enjoy it even not having seen the other movies. That's the goal when making a Hollywood blockbuster. I mean, take all the Marvel movies, for example. It's nice to know all the lore, all the backstories, where everything ties together, but you can still pick up anything from, like, Phase 1 or Phase 2 and watch it without a problem.
Well, these movies also came out pretty quickly, one after the other. through phase 1 and 4, which was nice because it saved people like you and me that were excited to see the next one, excited to see where the next one would go and the one after that, or the, no pun intended, end game would be. And so they did one every almost 6 months, keeping the story going, which
It was something like that.
And so they didn't have to do a shit ton of backstory in each movie because the last one just got released that was connected to the one after that anyway.
But they're still self-contained stories.
Exactly. And most of them were pretty... Now, I say most of them because they've gotten a lot off track since, I want to say, phase 2 or 3, beginning of phase 3. A lot of them were comic book accurate as far as story goes.
As
picked
far as a grounded comic book story
right.
could be.
They picked a storyline because, I mean, there's I think 3 different storylines to Secret Wars. And they picked one and, like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to stick closely to this storyline, but we're going to put our twist on it, make it our own. Awesome. And so, but it still left enough breadcrumbs for us to go back to the comics if we wanted to. Be like, oh, okay, well, I get it now.
Right.
They didn't do that with the
Matrix. Or if you already knew the comics, to go, hey, I understood that reference.
You know how many canon comic books, the whole MMO that they released, and not a single reference to any of them in this new Matrix movie. Except for the fact that Morpheus is dead.
I mean, yeah. But, see, that was one of the biggest problems I had. Now, I didn't play Enter the Matrix, so I don't know a lot of the extended lore that happened after Revolutions.
I just watched the cutscenes.
Well, either way, I didn't even do that. So I don't know all the extended lore that happens after Revolutions to bridge the gap between that and Resurrections. But, just the way they have Morpheus killed off.
It was pretty bad.
Because, I mean, going through, let me find it real quick. It's in my notes.
He's looking, he's searching, he's finding for the answer. He's looking, he's searching, he's trying to find the answer. Did you find it?
All right, Morpheus with the whole religion thing, right?
Yes.
Or the religion based around the one. Now, one of the key points of Revolutions was the fact that his faith in the one, the prophecy, that whole religious system, was shaken to its core with what happened. Like, he started to doubt whether the prophecy meant what they thought it meant for all these fucking years.
Yeah.
And yet they still have him be this religious zealot who ends up dying like that.
Oh, he died pretty shitty. So you've seen at least his death scene in the MMO, right?
No, I saw his statue in Resurrections.
He was... What was it? I don't remember. There was a whole new part of the system that they were trying to fight in the Matrix. And they were trying to blow up a central location to hopefully put a dent in their security. And he was caught doing this. And as the building blows up, he's running away from one of the new quote-unquote agents. And they just shoot him up in an alley. And it was that anticlimactic. It was run away, fire a couple shots behind me. Oh shit, there's one in front of me. I'm dead.
This is motherfucking Morpheus. He deserves more than that.
Exactly. Now, I think there was it's not considered canon, but there's a comic book out there, and I don't remember what the name was or who wrote it. But I kind of... This was years ago when I was looking. They just released the anime, and I think the anime is still on Netflix. The little short film series that they had released. They released a comic book kind of linking to that, and Morpheus dies in this comic book, and that fucking death was more impacting than the one they gave in the fucking MMO.
I don't know. From what I understand, yeah, we've got all the stories from Animatrix that are canon. and then they went ahead and made Into the Matrix canon to the movies.
Yeah.
So anything outside of that, it's completely beyond my knowledge. Uh-oh, we got children.
It keeps changing? Yeah. Okay, go. We'll fix it in a little bit. We need to stay out there. That's fixed. Sorry. My kids are home. We just talked about this.
No school.
He's watching a movie and it keeps messing up, so I'll just give him his tablet and don't have to worrying about a movie.
So, I guess the biggest problem with this movie starts in the very beginning. It's that scene where they acknowledge the fact that this movie shouldn't exist.
Oh, where
by
they're
trying to do the video game.
Matrix
and then
4. Oh, I have these memories, and I'm seeing a therapist.
Not that. It don't even have to go that far into the movie to find the problem. They acknowledge, the studio's going to do this anyway, even if we don't come back and do it ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah.
Saying, it's basically hand-waving away all the problems just by saying, yeah, we know this is going to be terrible, but there's nothing we can do because the studio wants it, so we have to do it anyway. Here's my problem. Here's the problem. They fucking did it anyway. You can't just say that, acknowledge the problem, and then make the problem worse by following through with the demands. Make the studio do it themselves, let the studio pay for it, and I don't mean pay with money, I mean pay with all the backlash. Because no matter what they did, if this is true, this movie was going to suck no matter what.
You know what they're poking fun at, right? And this just came to me. They're poking fun at game developers today. Because how many game developers? No really point any fingers. So. Activision.
I really don't think so.
Again, not pointing any fingers. Activision. That get all this backlash from every game they release and be like, oh, but we're going to change. And then they do it anyway. They know the problem's there, but they're going to go ahead and just continue.
No, see, it's different. With video games, what you don't have with movies. Because with movies, you can't do a remaster, put it back into theaters, and call it good. Especially if you're going 20 years into the development of a story. I mean,
they could.
With video games, you can remaster, you can put a fresh coat of paint, you can even rebuild the engine as long as the game is the same. You can release it, and there you go. You've got another success story. With movies, you've got reboots, you've got remakes, you've got soft reboots, which are basically remakes. I mean, it's different. It's not the same thing. Here, perfect example. This will really put it into context for you. Scream.
See his facial reactions right now.
The Scream movies, right? The Scream movies were Wes Craven's deconstruction of the entire slasher genre as a whole.
I wasn't a fan of the Scream movies anyway.
I fucking love the Scream movies. They're so goddamn good, I can't even stand it. Wes Craven is a fucking genius.
Oh, I know he is. I wasn't a fan of the Scream movies.
Well, I mean, because...
Did I watch every single one of them? Of course.
Right, but here, think about it for a second. It's a deconstruction of the slasher genre. Now, the slasher genre was already dying out when the first Scream movie happened. So at that point, you've got all of the tried, tested, and true tropes that every Scream movie has. From the final girl, to who gets to live, to I'll be right back. All that shit.
Do that again.
Right? I'll be right back.
One more time for the people in the back.
I'll be right back. But anyways, that was the whole point. You've got Randy, whether he's there or he's on video or what have you, or in the reboot, they've got the new Randy, which was pretty brilliant. They explain all the rules of the slasher films, and then they deconstruct every one of them, except for the final girl. But that's the staple of slasher films. You kind of have to have the final girl. She lives for now until maybe she doesn't, but then she lives for now until maybe she doesn't.
Sometimes it's a sister, usually a second cousin.
And then with Scream 4, this is how you do what The Matrix did right. because you've got all these new characters, right? Each one represents a character.
I haven't seen the new one.
No, not the new one. That's 5.
Oh.
Scream 4 came out a while ago.
I haven't seen it either.
I think it was 10 years ago.
Maybe I have seen it and I just don't remember. I've drank since then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2012. I may be wrong. Someone might want to check my math, but I'm pretty sure it was 2012.
Check my math, but I've had 20 beers and more than that. I'm sorry. Since then.
Anyway, so you've got a character to represent each of the original characters. You've got the new Sidney Prescott, the new Billy Loomis, the new Friends, the new, like I said, Randy, but this time it was a duo of Randys. These two guys were film
I remember
nuts.
that.
Right, and the one always had the camera on his head,
Yep.
the other had the long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's genius. Because even there, they explain how in a reboot, basically the only way to survive is you gotta be gay. Right? Now.
That sounds a little racy. But
Well, okay. Out of context, yes, it does. But when you think about the slasher films, I mean, you've got, I don't want to say protected classes, but you've got the first obvious victim. You've got obligatory victims. You've got what they all have in common. You know, virgins are the only ones who live. If you have sex in that during the course of that movie, anywhere in the runtime, you're dead, unless you're the killer, in which you still might be dead.
Yeah.
The only way to survive is be the final girl who is the main character, or be the killer.
Yeah.
But
I don't know about.
well, hold on.
The whole
I wasn't
being
finished.
gay.
I wasn't finished. It would take too long to explain all of it. We don't have that kind of time, and I'm sure they don't want to sit through it. So, just to summarize, just take my word for it. Because they kind of say it in a knee-jerk way. Basically, the only way to survive is you gotta be gay. But it's still technically kind of a, at that time, new wave rule of slasher films.
Let's say, because I watched the new.
I wasn't done. Genius. Stop
Listen.
it. There was a point. I was going somewhere with this.
But we're on the gay track now.
I know, but there's a point. I'm going somewhere with this. Hold on. When they get to the final victims, one of those guys, one of those film nuts, is face to face with the killer, already been stabbed. Guy's going down to stab him again, kill him for good. And he goes, wait. I'm gay. Guess what happens? He kills him anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Because that's a brilliant deconstruction of their own rebooted rules.
So you're saying Neo should have came out gay?
No.
That would have been pretty nice.
That would have been really fucking weird, considering we already know that he's not, and we've seen him be not gay in at least one movie.
I'm just saying. Just saying.
I mean, what he does with Trinity, which I won't say because YouTube may not like it very much. That works. But that, in a way, that's my problem. Metaphorically, you apply that, right? Building up the rules, deconstructing them. Matrix 4 built up the rules, built up the premise by saying the studio was going to do this anyway. We didn't have a choice. You're going to hate it, but here you go. But they did it anyway. And they did it in the worst possible way. Because all they did was acknowledge the problems and not do a fucking thing about it. Nowhere in the movie do they deconstruct anything. Nowhere in the movie do they even try to continue the actual plot lines that they already had. No, it's, we need to build up my Niobe. We need to make Trinity more important. We need to justify the fact that she's still alive. Oh, hey, what do we have? We have the last exile. Why was she exiled? Oh, we never said.
And not at all.
So let's just say that her dad, whatever program that was programming the resurrection pods. Something that's never been fucking heard of. And apparently something that he did.
It was never talked about once in the train station.
Nope.
And that's the only time we ever really see them is in, it was the last movie where he's stuck in the Matrix running through the train station over and over and over again nonstop.
Because there's no way out.
No.
It's an endless loop built by the train man.
I didn't even think about that. See, I should have went and rewatched the other movies before I watched the new one, and I didn't. I thought I was like,
Well,
I'll
no,
remember
they
enough.
flat out tell you that she was the last exile.
I didn't even realize that was the daughter to begin with until they said something. There wasn't any similarities in the actress at all.
Yeah, there are.
I didn't see it.
I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure it's the same person. That's how long it's been since Matrix Revolutions.
That I could see that. Okay.
You just said you didn't see any
But-
similarities.
I'm saying I could see it being the same person, even if it's not. Even if I don't see any similarities between the two. I mean, people age differently. Singularities. There's not a single fucking thing I saw. Let's not forget the fact that you Let's not forget the fact that you think Frieza Saga Cell Saga
I
came
never
first.
said that.
You
We
did.
always go back to this.
Because it's the
Oh
only
my
thing I
fucking
have.
God. No,
All
I
I
never
have.
said that. We had okay.
We
little bit of context for
a
everybody.
4-hour-long
No,
argument about this in the middle of the bar.
No,
Yes, we
shut
did.
up. Shut up. No. Here's the thing. For context, everybody, Kid and I had a fight a long time ago, years and years ago.
It's not over.
It was about Dragon Ball Z. We were both drunk.
No, we weren't.
Yes,
not
we
by
were.
this point, though,
Yes,
because we didn't
we
have
were.
shit for money that day.
You just said we were fighting at the bar, genius.
How many times did we go to the bar and not have a single fucking drink?
I can't think of one.
That's because you drink too much after that. He knew he was wrong. He was drinking his sorrows away afterwards.
Yeah, no. We were drunk. We were fighting about Dragon Ball Z. We were fighting about timeline. We were not, I repeat, we were not, and I've been saying this consistently for years, we were not fighting about what came first between the Frieza and the fucking Cell sagas, because of course the Cell saga came later. There's no way it could have possibly come first. I would never suggest that the fucking Cell saga came before the Frieza saga.
I don't know.
There's
You
no way.
claim you were drunk.
There's no way. I've never been drunk enough to believe that.
You see how hard he's
bullshit.
defending himself? Do you hear this? Like, you were defending yourself
If
way
you've
too
ever
hard
watched
for somebody
if
that's
you've
wrong.
ever watched the series, you already know the series starts with the Saiyans, which leads into Frieza, and then you have the rest of the series. We're arguing, or he thinks we were arguing about what happened at the very fucking beginning of the show. I know what happened in the beginning of the show. I watched like 4 different dubs of it.
That's horrible that you can admit that.
Well, I mean, you've got the Ocean dub, you've got the 4Kids dub, you've got the Funimation dub, because...
Shit show called Kai.
No, I actually didn't watch Kai.
You didn't watch it?
No.
I watched part of the Frieza. Yeah, the part of the I watched the Cell Saga when it came on Toonami of Kai, and then I quit like 2 episodes in. Like I started watching it. I want to think Cell had just built his ring, and that was it. That's all I watched. I couldn't watch it anymore.
I don't know. I mean, the appeal of it was nice, because if I remember right, it was promoted as Dragon Ball Z with no filler.
Yes, and that's exactly what it is.
So, I mean, it had that going for it. I understood this could be good. The fact of the matter is, I already sat through years of Dragon Ball Z. I was not doing it again.
Animation was garbage. I think it was I'm pretty sure it was a whole different animator. And it was garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Way too
Definitely.
toony. It wasn't what Dragon Ball Z was. Just like the Matrix. It's
Well, no,
not the Matrix.
Kai was done by
Same dude that did GT.
I think, but there was a lot of Funimation involvement.
Oh, well, I'm not saying Funimation didn't have any involvement in it. I'm just saying the actual drawing
No, I know.
and all that was garbage.
I'm just saying.
Complete dumpster fire. Like the Matrix. What they should have done, in my opinion, as far as the new Matrix movie, with the title, either
Scrap it.
done a reboot
Scrap it.
Or they should have done it more outside of the Matrix War. Shown more of the fights between the machines outside of the Matrix. I would like to know more about that because they don't do it in any other media as for the Matrix series at all. They didn't do it in the comics except for maybe a few short scenes here and there where they're traveling from one place to the other trying to plug in. But other than that, there's nothing. I want to see an all-out war like they did in the second movie. Was it the second movie, The Machines Attack Zion?
Here's the problem. The war is over. After Revolutions, the war is done. There's no more conflict between the humans and machines. They had to manufacture one for this movie.
Well, I get that, but they could have done like a cleanup style movie where, hey, you always still have a problem afterwards. There's still a few stragglers here and there, and they could have done something with that.
Not with the machines. That's kind of the beauty of it. With the machines, they had this perfect system where it was this hive mind. They could all effectively communicate with each other no matter where they were. There was no delays, which is why Neo, who went to Machine City and got plugged into Machine City, fighting there, ended up affecting the Sentinels in Zion, because as soon as he won, they all pulled out.
Yeah.
Like, they stopped attacking as soon as he made the bargain.
Poor kid. He's always having trouble with this movie.
So, I mean, the war is over. There's no more conflict. It was really well tied up. It was really neatly done. It didn't need anything extra at the end of that. If you want to do another Matrix movie, here's what you need. Number one, they never confirmed that Neo died. So the whole resurrection thing is pointless from the get-go. That's step one. So all you have to do is take his body, put it back in a pod, use the machines to try to fix him up, and there you go. He's still alive. But then you need motivation after that. You've got to have some reason for him to fight, and don't bring Trinity back. Look, Carrie-Anne Moss, great actress. I like seeing her on screen. I like seeing her do shit.
Bet you do.
She didn't need to be there.
I bet you do.
I bet this was just a paycheck for her, because she shouldn't have had any impact on the plot. They wrote this whole...
Of course it was just a paycheck for her. I mean, God, how many old actors nowadays are going back to, older series just for a paycheck?
How many of these
Doc
people...
Ock, for crying out loud. They asked him straight out,
Hold
why
on.
are you doing this?
How many of these people have to have entire plot lines written for them to justify being in the movie in the first place?
Doesn't matter as long as they're getting paid.
It does, though.
For us... We're the one watching the shit.
I'll go more into it when we get to Spider-Man, but I think we should save Spider-Man for the last of the movies. Because there is a counter to that. Of course, maybe if someone's in chat, they can remind me, because knowing us, we'll get so far off track, I'll fucking forget.
Constantly off track.
But at this point, I think we spent enough time on Matrix.
We didn't spend any time on Matrix.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think we spent enough time not talking about the Matrix, then maybe we should not talk about Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City.
I think the only thing... Okay, yeah, no, I don't think I know. The only thing I enjoyed about this movie is set pieces. That is it.
Yes, 2 set pieces to be exact.
That is it. I hated the fact we didn't get, as everybody else knows, Mr. X. The tyrant, the one and only, the one that pretty much started the fear of a tyrant for all of us. We didn't see him one fucking time in this movie. And it upsets the fuck out of me.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. If we want to start off by talking about the monsters, how about the fact that we wait so goddamn long to finally get a zombie in the movie? And
my eyes bleeding.
We start
it's been happening for a few weeks now. It must be the water. Move,
right.
Bitch.
We start with these weird, like, Hills Have Eyes type people who just break into her house or whatever. And then we've got a dog. And then we've got full-on zombies after that, but it's way later. And then we get what? 1 liquor?
Yeah, that was garbage because there's at least 6 in the whole, at least in the precinct.
Yeah, we didn't get 1 in the fucking police precinct at all. Not 1.
Because if I'm right, where they show the liquor, it wasn't even there in the game. I don't think we got one in the daycare in the game. I'd have to go replay it, or
No, it's the orphanage.
the orphanage. I don't think there was a single liquor in that area.
See, I'll be completely honest with you. It's been
Maybe that's going too deep into the source material.
It's been so goddamn long since I played Resident Evil 2. I don't even remember the orphanage.
See, I don't remember the orphanage in the original. However, I know it's in the remake they brought it back. I watched Markiplier play the remake. And they brought it in there because I know they showed it a lot in like comic books and things like that. Because you imagine a breakout in an orphanage, and they did in the comic book. They used the orphanage as a way to get into the hive for the Umbrella Hive underground. That was an easy to and from. They experimented on kids, the whole 9. That's true. That happened.
Yeah.
But I don't think they got into it in the original Resident Evil 2 game. However, I know they did it with the remake. And I think that I could be wrong. Let us know in the comments. But I'm pretty sure it was only in the remake that they brought that into. Are you looking it up? I feel like you're looking it up.
I'm looking at my notes.
Oh. But other than that, yeah, I don't. I'm with you. I don't remember the orphanage being in the original game.
I don't know. But, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The fucking characters. You want to tell me... No. You want to tell me that this is Leon, that this is
I'll tell you, it's not
Jill,
Leon. It was
that this is
ridiculous.
motherfucking Albert Wesker. Are you kidding me?
I texted you, and I was like, they got Chris Pratt. Fucking Albert Wesker. Give me a second. Somebody's at my door.
No, they got a Chris Pratt wannabe.
It looked like him.
I mean, yeah, from the side, kind of, but that's definitely not him. Kid stepped away from the microphone for just a second. God, I hate this movie. I hate this movie so fucking much. I can't even begin to explain, but I'm going to try during the course of this fucking sort of
we all know
conversation.
we're going to just fair warning for anybody listening now or anybody going to be listening later. This whole segment is just going to be trashing this movie. We have nothing good to say about it except for one thing.
Yeah, we already said it. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to add a little bit of a modifier to that. The good things about this movie, you've got, like we said, RPD, the police precinct, the
Beautiful
lobby.
set piece.
The lobby looks amazing.
It looks
the
awesome.
The rest of it looks like it was
I genuinely
filmed.
believe that statue was going to open up when they figured out how to open it up and get underground.
Which, of course, they didn't because they couldn't afford that. But, I mean, that looked great. The rest of the police precinct, the entirety of it, looked like it was filmed in a rundown old office building. That was dog shit. The mansion, the entryway to the mansion looks great.
The rest of the mansion
The rest of the mansion just looks like any random upper middle class house.
But I get it with a game like this though, and I will give them a little leeway with games like Resident Evil, where again, especially the mansion, out of all places, since we're on that, you know, there was so many secret rooms, so many puzzles, and it's hard to implement something like that into a movie.
They didn't have to go into any of them. They could just go into the rooms,
right,
and make the rooms look like the fucking rooms. That's all they had to do. I mean, so they don't have secret passages, right? Oh, we have to leave the building to go to the next building. Okay, I'm with you. I'm watching the movie. I understand. We could do this. We don't have to have secret passages if they can't fucking do it.
Like, we're missing... And the thing that pissed me off about the mansion, we're missing the frog monsters. We're missing the first tyrant. out of anything, the tyrants. Where are they at?
Not in this fucking movie.
Like, I would even love to see. I swear, if they decide to release another live action fucking movie, they better base it off 3, and we better get a proper fucking Nemesis.
Nemesis.
I have it. Hold on.
See, the problem with that is that means we'd have to deal with this incarnation of Jill Valentine for a whole fucking movie.
No, they
and
don't even
I
have
want
to give her. No, we don't even have to
You
give
really
her
want to
credit.
see? You really want to wait around and see who they're going to cast as Carlos?
You know what? I
If
do.
the cast is this
I
bad
do.
so
I'm going to
far?
give them a second chance.
No.
They need to actually go in and be like, I think Namco just needs, or Capcom, sorry, needs to just go, look, we're taking it over. We've got this. Stop trying to reproduce our shit. And just, they need to make their own goddamn movie. Stop with the animated shit. They're great. I love the animated series, except for the recent one that's on Netflix. I don't even remember what it's called. But they just need to do it. Leave it in the hands of the beholder. Let them take their child. This is their child. This is their child. Let them grow it.
Yeah.
That is a hint to, as well as to any future director that decides that they want to do an anime or live action adaptation of any anime again.
Just don't. How about that?
Leave it alone.
Just don't.
This movie could have gone somewhere, especially, again, those set pieces were phenomenal.
Fucking phenomenal.
That's all I had going for it. Especially, again, where is my tyrant? The whole...
See, the tyrants were the smart ones because they noped the fuck out of this movie.
Right? But the whole premises of being afraid in these games, I believe, for me at least, was the tyrants. Because I could get around, even in the older games, you know, as hard as the zombies were to kill, they weren't too much of a problem until you got to the segments with the tyrants. And even the remake of Resident Evil 2, he was always there. He can go into any room except for the safe rooms, and he can get you anywhere you were throughout the whole game.
Right.
There wasn't a single segment except for the first quarter of the game that he couldn't come get you. That is something that would have been amazing to see in this movie. And it didn't happen. And there were so many times I knew he could have come up, because there's the moments. Oh well, we didn't get it in the Raccoon or in the precinct scenes where the helicopter crashes, because that's when he first shows up in both games, actually, in the remake and in the original. We didn't get him there.
I'll take your word for it. It's been too long. I can't confirm.
And then one of the scenes I was so waiting for is when they're talking to the informant in the jail cell. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, we're going to get it. This is it. This is the moment. It's going to happen. I'm waiting for this giant hand to crush through the wall and crush the informant's skull and splatter his brains all over the wall.
Nope.
We didn't get it.
It's just another fucking dude who just happened to be bit somehow and didn't
Exactly.
turn until after Leon got there. Because, you know, zombies apparently can wait. After a person's bitten, they can just wait until the plot demands or a certain important character shows up before they actually turn into a fucking zombie.
With this virus, it's almost instant, depending on where the bite is, how deep and for anybody who doesn't know, go into the comics, read, watch the animated films, even, and the animated shorts.
It's true.
They talk more about the viruses and all of that than they do in the video games.
What it really has to do with how quickly the body dies.
Yeah.
So if you're not bit in a vital spot, then the virus has to run its course and actually kill you manually.
And they even talked about it too a couple times, because I remember in the movie where Leon goes to Washington, D.C., and they're like, all hell's pretty much broken loose at this point.
Okay, but that was a different virus, though.
But somebody had gotten bit by the C virus, and they're like, well, you should be turning, blah, blah, blah. And Leon goes into a little bit of an explanation. Well, the bite's not deep enough. He will turn, though. and they kind of go into that. So like, and he got bit in the hand between his index finger and the thumb, right there in the webbing, but it wasn't deep enough. And then somebody else gets bit right then and there, like in the leg or something, and he turns almost immediately.
I don't know.
Again, it's very weird the way this virus works.
It's plot convenience, but it still has some kind of biology behind it.
But judging by, and I know, again, I'm going way too deep into it, but this is how mad I am at this movie. Judging by where that bite was on that prisoner in the jail cell with him, he should have been dead hours ago.
I didn't even see the bite. I just didn't care enough.
And he should have turned way sooner than that.
Like, as soon as I realized that those cells were actually just one cell, they're all connected. It was just a door. It was a door in the middle of it, and then this wide area instead of having bars in between. I just didn't care because I already knew how he was going to die.
And I knew what they were shooting for, because that original cell, and we talked about this the other day, that cell where they find the informant, at least in the video games, is right outside of the parking garage. Mm-hmm. Or I should say, right inside.
Inside from the parking garage.
Right, because it's just a holding cell.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the tyrant is able to bash through the wall the way he does and grab him and blah, 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 blah. And so I get why the cells looked like that. Because they're just, quick little holding cells for whenever they bring prisoners in, blah, 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 blah. But still, that scene just... I was so tempted to shut off the movie. But I was like, nope, I got to finish it. I'm already this deep. It'll end soon.
Like, that's not even the only problem with that scene. Because, yeah, we've got this informant here.
Leon being a bitch.
Well, Leon being a bitch, but that's a problem throughout the entire movie, not just this scene. The informant, all he does is name drop the viruses, doesn't say what they are, what they do, doesn't mention the bioweapons at all, just says the fucking T-virus.
He kind of does that in the game, too, but
But they give you something to go off of. This was just a name drop with it was a name drop with little to no context. It's dumb. It's like, why the fuck would Leon care? This random cop, who is apparently really shitty at his job and shot his last partner in the ass.
I don't even remember that happening.
Why would
in the
he
games.
care about
I think
the
it was
name?
just a new cop moving.
Yeah, he was just a rookie cop. This was his
I think
first
they
job.
were just... and I think for the movie, they're like, oh,
no,
well, we got to give him more than
that. We need to make him
that.
incompetent. We got to make him beyond stupid, and then he'll have a character arc because we're going to make him a badass by the end. Oh, wait, no, we're not. No, we're not. We're going to make Claire carry his balls as long as we possibly can, and then she'll do all the badassery because she don't got a penis. I'm so tired of the bullshit. So tired of it. Look, you can make Claire a badass. Put her in her own story like she was supposed to be throughout the entirety of the movie. Like, her meeting up with Leon happened way too soon. I mean, in the precinct, where they're actually doing shit together. That happened way too soon. They're supposed to have this entire story arc apart from each other, knowing that each other is there and still trying to help while trying to survive and follow their own fucking paths and achieve their own goals. But
Shit.
That doesn't happen. What's Leon's goal? Not die.
Well, that and not playing It Takes Two, because according to Twitch, that's what we're doing right now.
Twitch is bad, okay?
Oh, I think I could fix that. Hold on. I hope I could fix that without having... I've seen the little picture. I'm looking at chat here, and I'm like, what is that? Oh, that's It Takes Two.
I don't fucking care. I mean, back to the cast. Because obviously, you know how we feel about Leon and Claire so far. And you've heard me rant about Jill and Wesker. Now, casting Neil McDonough was fucking brilliant. He's the best part of that movie, but he's normally the best part of the movie because he's just that damn good. The dude is versatile as fuck. And then you've got Robbie Amell as Chris Redfield. Now, at least he kind of looks like the character. He doesn't talk or act like the fucking character. So he's got the same goddamn problems that the others do, but at least he looks like him. He's got that going for him. There's a starting point there. What's Leon got? Leon's got longer-ish hair. Okay.
That can't be fixed. I guess we're playing It Takes Two.
Twitch's bad, okay?
No, we didn't. You didn't set a title in OBS, did you?
Huh?
Did you set a title in OBS for
No,
Twitch?
Twitch is supposed to be using the same information as YouTube.
I'll see, but I'm the only reason that's because when I streamed the other day, it actually made me create a title through OBS using the stream key. What's the primary stream key on OBS? Is it YouTube?
Yeah.
That's why.
It's not even giving me an option to edit the stream on Twitch. Just put it in.
We'll figure it out later. I'm sorry. That's just, I'm like, oh shit. What is that?
It is what it is.
No. Okay, who is that actor, by the way, that's playing Albert?
I can't remember his name.
I don't either. So in the bar, or when they're at the bar, or the diner, or whatever that is. It's a diner. Legit, I was tired. I think it was like 12:30 at night. And I was watching the movie, and I'm like, wait, who is that? I was like, that's Chris fucking Pratt. Are you fucking serious? Why the fuck would you make Chris Pratt out of everybody in the world
No.
Albert fucking Wesker?
No.
And then that scene ends, and then they start showing more of the scene in when they're back at the precinct.
The meeting.
Right. And I'm like, wait, no. And I text you back, my bad, never mind, not Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I was like, whoopsies, my bad.
At least you tried.
And I was so fucking tired when I watched that movie. I was so exhausted. Again, at least it's not Leon.
Above all, it's not even entertaining as a movie. No. I can't tell you how many times I almost fell asleep.
Like, I think one of the worst parts, especially a whole plot point for Albert Wesker, is the end when he portrays everybody. It's been a while since I played the first Resident Evil game, but I remember him being a lot less remorseful than that. And right there, I mean, he's apologizing to everybody. I'm sorry, come and join me, blah, blah, blah.
Well, no, they want to make this a sympathetic character.
Right, and he's not, though.
It's Albert fucking Wesker.
He's always been in it from, not from the beginning. Well, obviously from the beginning, he's been hiding it from everybody. He's always been in it for himself. And he's not at all. He is way too sympathetic in the movie at the end there. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to kill your dad. I didn't want to kill your mom, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm going to kill this kid. No, he would have just fucking did it. There would have been no apologizing. There wouldn't have been explanation. He'd be like, you're a loose end, you're dead.
Not to mention, speaking of, I'm sorry I killed your mom and dad, whatever. When he actually says to the girl as he's quote-unquote dying on the ground, I wouldn't have shot you, or whatever he said to that effect. Like, dude, yes, you would have.
Yeah.
Yes, you fucking would have. You were about to shoot her, you lying sack of shit. You are a bad character. You don't know how to be a character. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Go away. Go away. Just fuck off. No. You don't know how to character. You don't. You don't.
There we go. I fixed it.
It's the main problem with everybody. I mean, I think the one character that actually made sense is the one that had the least right to make sense, and that was the police captain.
Yeah, I still have my problems with him. So many plot holes with his... Okay, he's got a huge story.
But the way he was portrayed was consistent through the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, and just in general, I mean, they what's his... I don't remember the actor's name. He's always a cop, though, too.
The guy from Gotham.
Yeah. He's always a cop in all the movies he plays in, damn near. And he's not a bad he's a really good actor when it comes to playing a police
He's not
officer.
always a cop. He was the best friend sort of best friend in Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage.
But I mean, still, he always plays that authoritative character that's, whether it's to be in there for comedic relief or anything like he is in Gotham. I mean,
He's the guy that's been around the block.
right, but he's always had that. He's always played characters that have that. I'm funny. I'm here to make you laugh, or I'm here to do this and that. But he always seems to make it seem from the get-go that I am a person of authority at the same time. This is what makes him such a great cop in anything he plays in. Again, me and the wife were rewatching Gotham. He's a fucking dumbass in Gotham. He really is, as far as a cop. But
Don't even get me started on Gotham. We'll be
I
here
know.
all day.
I know, but he still he as dumb as he is, he still plays the part where he goes, you could take him seriously at the same time. He is a great actor. So you're right. As the police captain, great role. However, so many plot points.
Well, I mean, that's part of the bigger issue here. There was no way they were going to be able to cover the plot of Resident Evils 1 and 2 in this 2-hour movie.
No, God, no. They should have just done 2 different movies. Or
you
like
would,
you said
you
the
would
other
need
day.
a series of movies just for the first game.
Yeah.
You would need a longer series of movies for the second game.
Because, and I'll get back on the captain, and I should have looked it up before we did this, but I am pretty sure, like, there was a whole segment in, I know they got into it more in the remake of Resident Evil 2, but the police captain's a fucking pedophile.
I couldn't
There is
tell you.
so much backstory there with between the police captain and the guy that runs the orphanage. And they didn't do any of that at all. Because I remember the dude that runs the orphanage is actually doing experiments for Umbrella to Birkin's daughter. And has a weird fucking pedophilic thing for Birkin's daughter as well. And
Are you sure that was him?
yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, it was the police captain the whole time. And because Birkin was working at the orphanage, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I gotta look it up again. But I'm pretty sure. I know there was the whole thing with Birkin's daughter. Even in the remake of the game, you get to play as her running around in the orphanage, escaping somebody. And I think it was the dude that runs the orphanage. But I know whenever you meet up with him, he also tells you about the police captain, and you confront the police captain, and you'll lock him up. I mean, there's so much backstory there that they're missing out on.
I don't know. Because
And they could have made it quick and easy for time's sake in the movie.
I mean, yeah.
It was small enough there
Here's
that-
where I'm coming from. Here's my perspective on the movie. Like, the first Resident Evil, I never finished it. I didn't play very much of it at all, but I generally know the
I
story.
was too scared as a kid to finish it.
Resident Evil 2, however, I played when I was 14 years old. I was laid up at home because that was when I really, really fucked up my leg. Did I tell you about that?
I don't remember.
That story?
I've drank since then.
Okay, picture a 14-year-old dumbass,
I
right?
pictured that
Now picture him outside of school, and there's a park bench, right? There's a park bench on concrete. Park bench,
You thought
just
you
so
could be a
you have it in
skateboarder.
your head. It's got a back to it. It's got a seat to it, and a giant gap in between those. Now it was a day where it had either just rained earlier in the day or it rained the day before, something like that. The grass was wet. You've got this little strip medium-sized strip of sidewalk where the park bench is, and then you got grass around it. Me, being dumb, waiting for doors to open outside of a school so that we could, go inside for this party or whatever that was happening at the school during the scrimmage games. I'm running and jumping off this park bench because it's making one of my friends uncomfortable and upset. And I thought it was funny. So I'm doing that over and over again. And she turns to me and goes, all right, you got to stop or I'm walking away. It's like, all right. I'll just do it one more time. I'll just do it one more time, and then I swear I'm done. So I back up even further into the grass. And the shoes I was wearing at the time were pretty slick. They didn't have a whole lot of tread, but they were cheaper. So, what have you. Run through the grass, step on the seat of the chair. I'm lifting up my other leg to go on the back of the chair so that I can jump off it and get some really good height. But my second foot, my left foot, doesn't make it on the back of the chair because my right foot has gone from the seat through the middle, and the rest of me went over the back of the chair. Now my legs caught between that metal, seat and the back, right?
You are a special kind of dumbass, aren't you?
Hyperextended the fuck out of my knee. It split the bone going up. It split the bone going down. Popped my kneecap all the way over to the right side of my leg. It was ridiculous.
You dropped on your head as a child?
It was a really goddamn long recovery. But anyways, so when I couldn't go to school because I couldn't actually move, I couldn't walk, I couldn't bend my leg at all, so it's not like I could get in a wheelchair. A friend of mine brought over his copy of Resident Evil 2 for me to play. Because I had nothing else to do. The school work would get dropped off, and I would do that, and I'd have nothing to fucking do. Because it's not like when you're at school, where you've got the lessons that'll take 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just,
Here, read this, do the
here's
homework,
thing you
call
have
it
to
a
do.
day.
Okay, 20 minutes later, done. This is a lot faster when you don't have a teacher yammering in your ear.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've got nothing to do all day. So, brought over Resident Evil 2. I played Resident Evil 2. I have not touched Resident Evil 2 since then. So, my memory is a little hazy. But I remember most of the big stuff. This movie, compared to that, number one, it doesn't line up at all except for, like we said, the shot of the police precinct and the shot of the mansion. And it just doesn't work as a movie in general. No.
Not at all. Like I said,
I mean,
if they decide to continue this in any way, they need to do a whole new recast. Who's the guy that played Leon Kennedy in...
If they decide to continue this in any way, there's no hope for the studio that made this because they're too stupid to realize they should abandon this project.
Yeah. Well, again, if any studio decides to continue in any way, because I'm sure they'll let's make a Resident Evil 2, but we'll rename it something else. We'll do a whole new recast because we're a different studio, blah, blah, blah. Please, go to your source. I doubt this will get anywhere, but if it does, go to your source. Let them tell you about these. Hell, take fucking tips from Ubisoft. Do your research. Do your history.
Or how about just download a free emulator and play it that way?
Right. I'm sure you're rich enough as a big
if they can afford the computers to do this shitty CG that they did.
You can afford a PlayStation 1 and play the original game.
They don't even need to buy a PlayStation 1. They've got a computer that can run a PS1 emulator and just play Resident Evil.
Yeah. Or just take one of your employees' PlayStation 4s and replay the Resident Evil 2 remake. Or even the Resident Evil 3 remake. Or Resident Evil 1 remake from Code Veronica. They all follow within the same 2 or 3 nights anyway. Hell, 1 and 2 take place in the same night. 3 takes place in the same night. And then Code Veronica takes place not even a whole week later. Code Veronica's a shitty game, but still.
Every good series has their miss.
Resident Evil 6.
There's no hope for Resident Evil 6.
Just the giraffe getting a blowjob.
Resident Evil 4 wasn't a great game.
I don't see the hype in it.
That little bitch was fucking annoying. Alright? There's no escaping that. And she kind of ruined almost every scene she was in. But aside from that, it wasn't really that bad. So
I
if
really-
you can remove that one aspect and you've got an okay game, then in general you've got an okay game.
I think the Resident Evil series started slipping at 4. I would have liked to see more of, and I'm going to give credit to Resident Evil 6 in this one, because I would have liked to see more of the espionage side of things with the Resident Evil series mixed in with the horror. It would have been great. I think if they would have put more horror into Resident Evil 6, it would have been a great game.
I have a counter to that.
But let me finish.
Okay.
Where they lost everything is where they decided to get too much into backstory of the viruses, and they created Resident Evil 4 and 5, where they let's go to this other country, find out where this is coming from, the plants that the virus is originated from. No, there's so much more going on in the world with these viruses, and with Umbrella being everywhere. Focus more on the city aspect. You get more. I feel like you can get more horror out of that, being in a city filled with the undead and tyrants chasing you at every corner that you go. Still be able to do take tips from Metal Gear Solid series and get the espionage, the hidden gems, the here and there, of finding out what's really going on that way, than going to a played country. No, let them die out. Don't worry about saving them. Fuck that little blonde girl that likes to get her ass caught every single second that you turn your back. And focus more on horror. Stop going to action. That's what I love about the new Resident Evil movies, 7 and 8, is, granted, they're kind of rebooting the series in a way.
You just called them movies, by the
Or
way.
the games. But they're going back to their roots. And I'm loving it. Because 4, I don't see the hype in 4 and 5. I don't. I don't know why people think they're such great games. I think they were garbage.
I think what it was just the drought, because you went so long without having a Resident Evil game, and
Bullshit.
here's a numbered title.
Bullshit. We got Code Veronica. I hated it.
Code
But-
Veronica was a glorified DLC, and you know it.
But it had story.
But it wasn't a numbered title.
I don't care.
Should.
Or,
Just to put it into context, that's what people are thinking.
Chronicles 1 and 2. I enjoyed the fuck out of those 2 games.
I didn't play them.
I enjoyed them. I mainly enjoyed them because I could have somebody come over and we could sit on the couch and play them. Split screen. There was many segments where you had to work together to get through, kind of like they have in it created the format for Resident Evil 6. The whole co-op helping each other out kind of deal. But they weren't. They were horrifying. I felt some sense of fear through most of the segments in those games.
But that's actually a great point to bring up my counter to your argument when it comes to espionage. Because you got to think about it like this for a second. Now, Chronicles, when those came out, like you said, split screen. That was the appeal. Now, they weren't numbered titles. They weren't mainline Resident Evil games, even though they followed the same story.
Right.
That's kind of what you have to do.
Play as Claire in one of them, so.
Well, that's kind of what you have to do when you're taking a brand new gameplay style and adding it to a long-running series. So you break it off, and then you've got the split screen there. The espionage angle for a game that's not really espionage. The game is more just suspense thriller.
Right.
But if it's not built that way, then I think it's better left for the movies, where you actually see Leon going into espionage and Claire
Right.
and doing all that stuff.
I just feel like it would be a great change, though, as a player. You know,
I mean, it
we get to
probably
watch
would.
that, but let me.
It probably would, but that's
play
not
that
what the
out,
series
too.
is built off of.
Right.
Like, take Hitman, for example, right? There you've got an assassin who's also doing espionage, right? That's what the entire series is. Now, if they wanted to throw zombies in there, they wouldn't do it in the next Hitman game with a numbered title.
Yeah.
They would put
No,
it
and
in
I
a
get
side
that.
game with a side story.
But I don't know. I feel like I think they could do it right, especially the way that they're going with these new games. Because there is a lot more espionage to the whole secret agent style to it, especially when the way that they're rebooting Chris. I still don't know how the fuck that's going on. I've seen gameplay for both games. I'm still completely fucking lost.
I have no idea.
All I know is Chris Redfield works for Umbrella now. Either that or he's head of his own Umbrella.
Well, I
How
think
that
the
happened?
idea is he's supposed to be a double agent, but they're just not playing it off very well. That or
We should find out in the next
or
game.
he underwent a similar kind of brainwashing to Jill.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll find out in the next game because Ethan's. I think we're playing as Ethan Rivers' daughter now, who was the main character.
I don't care about that family. I just don't. I
But-
care about Leon. I care about Chris. I care about Claire. I care about Jill. I care about Wesker. I want to know what's going on with all of them. Sometimes I care about Ada.
Well, according to the story, Wesker's dead.
For how long this time?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Last time we seen him, he was thrown into a volcano.
No, if Capcom wants to fucking
Let me take that back. Sorry to interrupt you. Let me take that back. He wasn't just thrown into a volcano. He was fucking Superman punched by steroided out fucking Chris Redfield.
Look at me, I can punch a boulder
Oh,
to
look,
death.
you're hyped up on this virus with tentacle arms. I'm just gonna punch this boulder into you still while you try to throw a rock. Why the fuck, if you're all that mutated, why the fuck would you still need a rocket launcher?
The fact that we've got to a point in the series where it's now canon that Chris Redfield can punch a boulder to death, it really drives home the fact that what we really need from Capcom, if they want to continue Resident Evil, is actually return to the beginning. Start over with a clean slate.
I wouldn't be mad.
Do it all again.
I would not be mad if they decided to write even,
And I don't just mean remakes. I mean
Full reboots.
Redo it all.
yeah, a whole new story. I would not be mad, even if they do not use the same characters.
No, that's fine. Set it somewhere else.
Okay.
Have a brand new story going on. You can even make the original still canon and follow a completely new set of people who are not tied to them in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to hear about stars. I don't want to hear about the president. None of that.
Hell, in this universe, Umbrella, I mean, it could be a whole new alternate universe. And they could later on, if they wanted to.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. No. Not everything needs a multiverse. We need to stop this shit. No.
I think you'll be fine.
No.
I think you'll be fine.
No. No. No one wants the Resident Evil extended multiverse.
Why not?
Nobody even wanted to see the legacy characters in the original movies.
Okay, that's fair.
The ones that followed Alice. And they did that right, by the way. I know those movies get a lot of shit.
I
but
like those movies.
love 'em.
I'll rewatch those movies on a daily basis.
Because, see, they were smart enough to realize, why don't we just take our own character and have her be the focal point for the whole series that we do?
I think the
we
only
can
thing
throw in the cameos, and they can
that's
be there
where
for
it
a little
lost
while.
me the most is the cameos. I think they should have just. I know why they did it. Fan service, awesome, cool. You made your money. As a fan, they lost me on that one because, like you said, this is Alice's story. Period. Should have been no cameos. She was strong enough, dude. Even without her powers, still strong enough to take on Umbrella by herself because she wasn't just strong, she was smart. Which is a lot more we could say about most of our mainline characters. Half of our mainline, even Leon, is skating by the skin of his teeth throughout the whole series. He's smart, but he's not Alice smart. Alice has her, at least from her backstory, she's got inside. She's, been in all the secret services Umbrella has to offer, including their science division.
Right. Well,
You
here's the problem. Alice's strengths actually play into Alice's weakness as a character.
Right. Most of the
No,
mainline
no,
characters don't do that.
Hold on. No. That's not a good thing. Here's what I mean. When you've got a character that's so smart they can know everything, and then so strong that they can do everything, then they don't need help. Then there's nothing compelling about the character.
Even within everybody still needs help, especially from at least a character building point of view.
Okay,
Let me don't need to add the mainline characters.
What I mean by that is, what I mean by that is, there's no credible threat to them. They can try to build one, like they had one with Nemesis, because we didn't actually know the full extent of what Alice could do. That was smart. Hold back the information. We don't need to know it all right now. And Nemesis can actually take out Alice. We believe that. Everything past that point, we don't believe that anything could take out Alice. Now, in Afterlife, they did right instead of doing a wrong. They took away all of her powers. That was genius. That
Sorry,
brought
if anybody
all the
hears any vibration or anything like that, I'm fixing my microphone.
That brought all the suspense back to the character, back to the series. Oh, don't, Tristan. No.
I don't see anything.
That. I see that, chat. What do you mean you like this movie? Hold on. I'll come back to you in just a second, Tristan. Where was I? They took away her powers, and then she still had all her smarts, but she had plenty of weaknesses to go along with it.
Yeah.
When you've got a character like Leon, he starts out green, but he's got the potential to be all the things that he needs to be.
And that brings the whole espionage part of it. He's learning by doing all this research as he goes along, and that's what. And I'm not saying this, but I'm saying that's what I loved about his character, because even throughout the video games and the movies,
that too.
And the difference between Alice and Leon is we got to watch Leon build, Leon grow. We've got to be a part of that in the video games. We got to watch it in the movies. Through every movie, every point in his existence in this franchise, we've got to watch the growth. With Alice, all we got was flashback backstory. That's the one thing I hated about it, was because we didn't get to watch her grow. I think they need to do a prequel where we watch Alice go through all this research phase and learning phase about Umbrella and blah, 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 blah. Granted, it wouldn't be a zombie movie, but it would give more context to her story.
I don't think we need it.
I'm not saying that we need it. I'm saying it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't. Whether you like the movie or not, it wouldn't hurt.
Maybe, but at that point, I think it's over-explaining. Because what you need is some kind of mystery. If you have all the information, if you can actually give all the information, you don't really have a draw for your main character. They've got to have something about them that makes them stand out, something that's hidden, something you don't know, something to keep you coming back to seeing the same character over and over again, because you're going to keep saying the same character over and over again, you know? But like what I was saying with Leon, Resident Evil 2, right? He's got cop training, and he's green. He knows only what you know in basic training. So he's got a stepping off point there. And then throughout the course of Resident Evil 2, he builds up that strength, and he starts to get some of the street smarts to go with it.
Exactly.
But later on down the line, because Resident Evil has more than run its course by now, Leon is basically Jesus.
Like how you compare him to Jesus. I'm sorry.
He can't die. He is immune to death.
Put me in the same fucking room as him, and I'll put a bullet through his eyes. Just saying.
Many have tried. All have failed. All. Literally all. Even when he's hopelessly outmatched. The dude is basically Resident Evil Jesus.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's not a compelling
he's a staple character
anymore.
at this point.
No, he is. I get that, but he's not a compelling character anymore.
Right.
Now they've already run that course with Claire's character in the new Resident Evil movie. She's too smart for her own good, and she's too good for her own good. So much so that she's picking up the slack for all the other characters that she's around in both circumstances, smarts and strengths. I mean, hell. Leon doesn't know what to do with a fucking shotgun? Are you kidding me? He looked at it like it was a manual to fucking an IKEA cabinet written in Swedish. Are you kidding me? It's a shotgun. You're a cop, and you don't know what it does? You don't know how to load it?
I think they give you all that in basic training. I'm sorry. Just if you can help me pronounce your name, that'd be awesome. No offense to you. You're
on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know how to say that.
No offense, man. I get it. Maybe the name you wanted was already taken. I've been there, bro.
That
the feels are all
could
there.
Be their actual name. I just have no idea how to say it.
I don't know either.
I would like to give you a shout out. I just don't know how to say that. So you guy, you. I don't even know if you're a guy, person. With
it's 2022.
The name starts with a T. We call you T. T, you're awesome. Hello.
What's up, T?
Tristan, you're awesome too. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, day
and
one.
yes, just I want to throw this out there. It is perfectly acceptable for you to like this movie. Like it if you want to like it. I'm going to shit on it because I have an unreasonably high standard for movies. And if you're here for the Spider-Man No Way Home
I have a high standard for Resident Evil. Okay? Just saying.
Like I was saying, if you're here for the No Way Home talk, which Tristan, I know you may not be because you don't want to get any spoilers yet, but you'll understand I can like a movie, but I can still think it's bad as a movie because I myself just have an unreasonably high standard for what makes a good plot for a movie. And this didn't reach that.
Last point I wanted. We're on the topic of, good, how we can remake Resident Evil. I think what we need to do is the game. So if you heard the game, get the fuck out, GTFO.
Yes.
We need a Resident Evil version of that. Seriously, hear me out. So they've tried it before with hold on, I could pull it up really quick, maybe depending how quick
Hey, you know what? Let's let people see what you're doing. Here we go.
Boom. Operation Raccoon City. It's a 4-player game. Go in, fight off waves of enemies. Just like GTFO. However, they have the means to make it better. Because I've watched gameplay for Get the Fuck Out. I enjoy it. I love the whole... They're mixing horde mode with horror, and it's beautiful. It needs to happen lore friendly with Resident Evil. Take the whole, send in a team of umbrella operators to clean out a hive that went bad. Outbreak happened within the hive, kind of like they did in Raccoon City, because that's what happened. The virus got out, blah, 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 blah. You need to do that here. Whether it be stars, they can do whatever fucking team they want to do. It could be stars. It could be Umbrella Special Forces. It can be the military, for all I care. I think that would even be better. A whole military squad going in there, team of 4, Navy SEALs, whatever. That would probably be better because, puts you in the perspective of somebody that absolutely has no idea what's really going on. Because the military didn't know what was going on. It was just people within Raccoon City and Umbrella. Well, people in Raccoon City when it was too late. This needs to happen.
I get that, but I have a better idea. One that literally just popped into my head. I haven't put any thought into this whatsoever, but I think it's better.
Okay, I'm listening.
Hear me out. We stop Resident Evil movies and Resident Evil games for a little while in general, right? That's what's driving the zombie market, generally speaking, right now.
Well, it's the head of the zombie market at this point. No matter, even to newcomers. I mean, when anybody comes up to me, hey, I'm looking for a good zombie game. I heard Dying Light's good. No, start out with Resident Evil.
No. Hold on. I'm not done. That's just the start. Take out the front runners. Let them cool off a little while, right? They've made their money. We've got the Resident Evil 3 remake. We got, I'm sorry, Tristan, the dumpster fire that is Welcome to Raccoon City. It exists now, okay? Anybody can enjoy it. They're welcome to it. I won't. Just cool off. And instead, we take those resources. We get groups of actors. You need 2 groups of 4. Hopefully you can see where I'm going with this, with the number 4, and having to have 2 groups of them.
Okay.
Because you're going to reuse both of these groups for multiple movies, or possibly series. And what you do is you take the plots of all the different quote-unquote movies from the Left 4 Dead series, and you make them live action. So you get someone to play Bill, Francis, Zoe, and God damn it, what's the black guy's
I
name?
don't know. Coach?
No,
No,
that's
it's the
Resident, or that's Left 4 Dead 2.
Still a black guy.
Okay, so Bill, Francis, Zoe, and black guy. Unfortunately, because I can't remember his name. So you take those 4 people, the actors that play them, and you put them through all of those different stories, start to finish, whether it be an actual movie or a mini series, what have you. You do this because what it'll do is it'll drive up the interest in the original Left 4 Dead. Because Back 4 Blood was dumb, and I will never defend that.
I'm not
I will never
saying
defend that
you're
game.
wrong.
I won't even touch that game again. No. Just the sentiment was good. The idea was good. The execution was worse than Welcome to Raccoon City.
When it comes for Back 4 Blood, the only reason why I enjoy this game, I agree with you on all the aspects. I do. But when I need a break from everything else, I still have Back 4 Blood downloaded. Because when I'm sick of this, getting stuck in a story, or I'm stuck on a part of another game and I need a break and I just want to kill shit, I do. I put Back 4 Blood in my PlayStation and I play. I love it because it's aimless, zombie shooter. Now I could play Killing Floor and do the same thing if I wanted. However, I'm not a fan of the Killing Floor series. As far as mechanics go, it's not stable. It's a very unstable and glitchy game till this day. But that's the only reason why I play it. I've actually met a couple good friends that I play Battlefield with now through Back 4 Blood.
Here's what I'd like to be able to do. I would like to, on my Xbox, be able to play Left 4 Dead 1 or 2. Well, see, I don't already have the game, so I can't do that. You can't download them. I can't find a copy of the games on disc that I can actually afford to buy.
There's a CD trade post still open.
But I just mean, it would be nice to be able to do that.
Go to Amazon.
Or actually, no, that's not true. I have 1 copy of Left 4 Dead for the 360, and it's not forward compatible.
That's lame. But I get it, because a lot of games aren't forward compatible with.
Well, I mean, Portal 2 is. I can play my Xbox 360 copy of Portal 2 on my Xbox One. Why can't I play Left 4 Dead? It's the same fucking game engine.
I don't know.
I'm not mad at you.
You're acting like it. I see that evil hate in your eyes, like you want to kill me for the fucking problem.
I would rather play that game. I've got a PC copy, right? And the only computer I have that can actually run games does not have a disk drive. So I can't even play it on that.
Oh.
And of course, I definitely can't fucking get it on Steam. Because I don't have money for that.
Oh, that's fair. But no, I do. I think we need a proper zombie game.
I think we need a return to form.
Yeah. Like I said, I think because GTFOs, I don't know the lore behind it because I just recently started watching gameplay for it. So I don't know the story. I'm pretty sure, from my understanding, you're in a prison. You're prisoners. You're trying to escape. And the only way to legally escape is...
I don't know. I just caught Mark, Bob, and Wade playing a little bit of it.
I just started watching their game because I know they played it in the
I
past.
didn't watch it from the beginning. wife was watching it. I walked in the middle of a video.
Yeah, they're playing it. They're currently playing it with Jack. I know they played it in the past, but that was when it was like an alpha.
Yeah, that was.
And so
version that I
I don't know the story behind this game at all. I seen an ad for it a couple of years ago, and I'm like, oh, that looks really interesting. And then I was like, I seen like I think a release date, and I'm like, I'll wait till that date and I'll take a look at it then. And then I completely forgot. Didn't hear anything about it until just recently when Mark started playing it again with the boys. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay, watching this now. And I'm like, well, where's the story? Well, what's going on here? I mean, it's mechanically stable game. It looks graphically good. From what I could see, it plays amazing. But you know me, I love those games where you have to communicate with your friends. It's a very communicative-based game. So I can't tell you if it's zombies or aliens. All I know is I want a zombie game like that. Kind of like World War Z mixed with GTFO. Just put them together. I want massive World War Z hordes at segments where you got to, obviously you got to be careful not to create those hordes, because I mean the slightest sound, whatever, will get them all after you, like they do in GTFO, and try to escape this area. I think that would be a great game to put together. Now, obviously it's been done. We've got Get the Fuck Out, but I don't want to see aliens. I'm sick of aliens.
You know, I think during the course of this conversation, I've realized what the bigger issue is.
What?
We seem to be in this time where everybody wants A to be like B was, while still keeping it as A. Instead of
I know.
Hold on. Instead of realizing that B still exists, and you can carry that forward. Think about this for a second. Instead of making a game that we already have and making it like a game that happened longer ago, why don't we take the game that happened longer ago and make another, but not change it? Let's not make it what the new games are. Like, my big issue with Back 4 Blood, when it comes to the cards and the loot and what have
Never
you.
used the cards. I'm just saying.
All the stupid mechanics that didn't need to be there, all the mini bosses, all of the fluff that they added onto there just to make it a new age Left 4 Dead game. Because if memory serves, this is still the same team, just not under the same title.
I think it was like for the original team from Left 4 Dead.
Well, either way,
But yeah,
this was basically promoted as the next
Left 4
Dead.
and it
Or
was
a new generation.
It wasn't just pretty much. I mean, they
Right, a new
advertised it
generation
directly
of
to
Left 4 Dead.
everybody. I mean, they blatantly mentioned Left 4 Dead in advertising.
every chance they got.
Yeah,
So why don't we just take Left 4 Dead as is, make another one the way it was?
you think Valve's really going to do that though?
I think they could, and I think they'd make a fucking killing off of it.
No, I know they would.
Because
but
the premise is so genius.
we're talking about the developer that just likes to be two. It's kind of like Bungie with 7. All right, it's 2, and we're done. Except for Half-Life. Okay, Half-Life is... correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Half-Life is the only series they have more than 2 versions of. Or 2
More than 2 titles.
titles, yeah.
Well,
Half-Life 1,
here's
2, and then the
problem.
VR.
Here's the problem. Half-Life Alyx is not Half-Life 3.
No, I'm not saying that it is.
I know,
but they've
I know, but hear me out.
Have they released Portal
Hold
something
on.
else?
Yes.
When?
Bridge Constructor or something like that. It's another Portal game. It's an actual Portal game. I know it
Ties into
seems
the story
dumb.
and everything.
I don't know. I've never played it.
Oh, well, so it might not even be another Portal game. You're just
But
saying
it
it.
is. No, it's called Portal Constructor or something like that. It's literally a Portal game.
It's not another Portal game unless it connects to the actual story.
It's in the title of the game. The same logo. It's got the O with the blue and the orange.
Because it catches the eye of people. Splitgate does the same thing. Yeah,
Splitgate is a new IP.
I'm just saying. Same logo style. Doesn't mean it's the same game.
I will look it up right now.
Do it. Do it. We got time. Do it for everybody to see.
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't get window capture to work.
Because if it's the same, if it's a continuation in some way or connects to the story in some way, I'll play it. But until then, it can fucking suck a butt.
Oh, there we go. Bridge Constructor Portal. That's the logo.
Let me see that. Let me see it.
That's the logo. You're not taking my phone. Now, it's a different gameplay style, because that's what it looks like when you're actually playing it. But it's still in-universe. It's still a Portal game. That's kind of like what they did with Half-Life Alyx, where it's not really Half-Life 3, but it's still a Half-Life game, meaning Valve still didn't have to learn how to count to 3. But... But both of these games were successful.
Sorry,
That's the thing.
You know, it just popped in
Like,
my head.
Bridge Constructor had no right to be successful. It's stupid. Half-Life Alyx had every reason to be successful because it's great. But the market is there, is what I'm saying. Valve can make the biggest comeback ever off of this. And with a premise like Left 4 Dead, it's so simple and it's so genius. You take horror movies and you have a recurring cast. Now, you don't acknowledge any of the other stories until you're going from the first group to the second group. But still, we've had how many new zombie... What?
So you got to fix your mustache there?
A little bit. We've had how many new zombie movies that have come out since Left 4 Dead 2? There's tons of material to work with there. What?
You mean games?
No, I mean movies.
Movies? Okay, make sure. I was just double checking. Because we're talking about video games and you said movies, so just, all right.
Right.
We're there.
Well,
anyway.
That's the thing. Left 4 Dead. Each story is basically its own self-contained movie.
That's true. But no, I get what you're saying. I do.
If we could just have a return to form, we could fix every problem that we've been having by adding all this dumb shit into our good shit.
Be great. We should just make our own game.
I don't know how to do that.
Not yet.
I can edit video. I can edit pictures. I can't edit games.
We will be Microsoft. They will do it. We will make enough money to hire people to do it for us, and we will be like Microsoft and make sure they know it's ours. They do it our way or no way. Or we'll buy somebody else's IP and we'll just change it to what we want.
No.
Like they did to Halo, just saying. I mean, don't get me wrong, it ended up really awesome, but still, I'm just saying.
For the record, Bungie entered that contract knowing that Microsoft had control.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, though.
So Bungie can take that stick out of their ass and stop being a little bitch about it.
Please don't sue us. I have nothing to do. I swear to you guys, if anybody in Bungie is listening to this later on in life or whatever, I had nothing to do with what he said. Sue him.
Hey.
Just contact me. I'll give you his information. We'll be good. Just
Hey.
cut me in on the check.
Fans of Bungie, you're cool. I don't have a problem with you. Bungie yourself, fuck you. Fuck you, you little pussy bitches. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I don't give a shit about Destiny. Never did. Probably
care about
never
Destiny
will.
either. I'm not a
I can
huge
play it
fan
for
of it.
free right now, and I still won't, because I don't give a shit.
You know, a buddy of mine decided got me
I have
back into Destiny.
I have my own personal problems with Bungie, everyone. That's a me thing. It's just a me thing. All right? You're welcome to like any Bungie game you want. You can like the employees, you can like the company, you can like whatever you want. I don't care. I don't.
Damn, son.
That's a rant for a different day.
Oh, shit.
All right, so now that we've not talked about Raccoon City
Yeah,
for all this
shit.
time,
We really got off track on that one.
I think it's about time for No Way Home. 'Cause we did promise we were talking about No Way Home today. So, spoiler warning, spoiler warning, spoiler warning. Tristan, I'm putting the image up now so you know. See you in a little bit. No Way Home.
No Way Home. Now, I enjoyed this movie.
So did I.
I did.
I really, really did.
But I think both me and you will agree on most of the problems with it. Plot points especially. So many plot holes everywhere. But as a movie as a whole, being a Spider-Man fan,
Well,
I enjoyed the
here's
fuck
the
out
thing.
of this movie.
This movie really just captures the idea that you can have a really, really great movie with a dog shit plot and story.
Oh yeah.
Because I could rewatch this. I most likely will rewatch this. I can't
will.
tell you how many times. And I will still have the same problems. I will never get over the fact that I still have the same problems with the way it's written.
But they've executed it well enough that you're willing to rewatch it, and that says something. Sorry, if anybody knows Kaz as well as I do, that says a lot. If he is willing to rewatch a movie multiple times, no matter how dog water he says it is, they did something right.
They did. They did.
So
It's just a stupid, 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 stupid story.
okay. Now, before we get into that, though, what is your favorite Spider-Man? Seriously. Live action. And we've had 4.
My favorite portrayal of Spider-Man has to be Andrew Garfield.
Okay. As Spider-Man or as just Spider-Man or with Peter Parker and both personas? Kind of explain here. Because with mine, I've got a reason for it behind it.
No, I know.
So
More so as Spider-Man than Peter Parker. And it's not Andrew's fault because you can't help yourself,
right.
right? I mean, there's only so much they can do with writing to make you act a certain way or portray certain feelings and what have you. But Andrew Garfield doesn't look like Peter Parker. And what I mean is he's, at the time the movie came out, he was, in his mid-20s?
Yeah.
And he's your pretty stereotypical, attractive, young male lead actor.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really capture the essence of Peter Parker.
Not at
the
all.
way that Tobey Maguire did.
Even when they gave him his dad's glasses, it's like you're trying to put that nerdy side in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. They tried. They really did try. And it shows.
Could have been
But
worse.
he just wasn't as good as a believable Peter Parker. And I feel like if they would have actually followed through with the trilogy so that we could see where his story friggin' really goes after Gwen is dead.
There's a petition for that, by the way.
No, it's almost guaranteed to happen at this point.
I'm just saying, there's a petition out for that.
But it's too little too late now. We
Here-
needed this years ago.
We could say that it's too little too late now, but you know as well as I do that they are going to make this thing, they're going to release it, and people are going to eat it up.
Well, yeah, because that's the way that Sony makes money.
So,
Sony,
to say that it's too little too late in my perspective is just wrong, because it's not. In the eyes of, if I were Sony, if you were anybody, if you were in that point where you were going to make money, it's never too late. Because if you know it's going to work and people are already raving about it now and it's not even a thing yet, it's still a glimmer in Sony's eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. It is a dollar sign in Sony's eyes.
exactly. But see, that's my problem, because you got to put this into context. Think about what's happening with No Way Home. It's going to go through the circuit of streaming services, one after another,
yeah.
after another, after another, before it finally makes it on a Disney Plus and people can watch it in line with all the other MCU movies, because this is a canon MCU movie.
Yeah.
Sony wants to make sure that they can make all the money they can off of each individual contract and then make all their money off of Disney that they're already guaranteed to make.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly
it'll
what
end
they're
up
going to
being
continue
a-
to do with the new Spider-Man
It'll end up
movies.
being partial Disney
But it's
merchant.
profit over passion.
Yeah.
And that's a huge problem with the MCU right now.
Which is what I loved about. So my favorite Spider-Man is Mitsubishi #1, Tobey Maguire, okay? Sorry.
I get it.
the Raimi version. And it's not just because, that's, everybody says, and I've noticed it a lot too. Everybody says that because it's the one we all grew up with. It's the one we got to see, quote unquote, first. Granted, they did it in the 70s, whatever.
I mean, that's nice, but there are reasons outside that I
Right.
can even admit
But
that
for
Maguire
me,
movies are good.
You know, when I grew up, I watched the Amazing Spider-Man animated TV show. Okay,
Yeah.
you've had this Peter Parker that was a perfect mixture of clueless nerd, but was still smart enough that come off very mature. And then when he was Spider-Man, again, this is the animated Spider-Man show, you know, he had this Batman-esque feel to him because he was smart. He can solve mysteries as he's swinging around New York, figure out who the bad guy is, you know, all this while still being comedically funny as Spider-Man. And Toby gave that off so well in my eyes.
Actually, that's
even as Peter Parker played it off very well.
Right. That's a broader thing when it comes to Spider-Man, because a lot of the current generation, like you said, grew up with the animated Spider-Man show. I did too. That was my gateway into Marvel Comics.
Right.
Was the Spider-Man series.
Same.
Well, Spider-Man and X-Men.
That one and then
Same time.
Iron Man in the Ten Rings series.
I didn't watch that.
Really? I did. I watched it, and then Spider-Man came on right after that, and then after that was the X-Men animated series.
Yeah, I didn't. At the time, I didn't really care about Iron Man. All I cared about was X-Men and Spider-Man, and that's pretty much it. And, well, of course, Batman, but I'm talking about Marvel. But the Spider-Man show was what got me into Marvel Comics just from that first point.
Yeah.
And it drives home the fact that their version of Peter Parker was always Spider-Man. He was never actually Peter Parker. And what I mean by that is Peter Parker in the comics is that guy who's shit on by life no matter what he does, everywhere he goes.
And then even as Spider-Man, he
And-
lives with getting shit on by life because he can't show that.
But the animated Spider-Man didn't have that. They didn't have their Peter Parker constantly being shit on.
Right. Well, I mean, when he got into college, he did, and that was more so because he had gotten his powers at the end of high school and into college, and so when he went into college, it was a new area for him. He had those years, those 3, years before in high school to kind of adapt to everything, and then going into. So by the time he had his powers, high school's almost nearly over. No big deal. There's not room to get shit on because he knew how to avoid it. But into college, a whole new realm, whole new group of bullies, whole new group of dickheads, blah, 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 blah. And you could tell in his story that it was so hard for him because he's like, I know I have these powers. I know I could show them what's what.
Well,
but you
hold
can't.
on. Because I got to be honest here. His problems as Peter Parker in the series were basically, oh, this girl doesn't like me right now.
I know.
Or, oh, my boss doesn't like me. Or, oh, this one person kind of acts like a bully and doesn't like me. And that was it. That doesn't really capture the essence of what Peter Parker is. Because Peter Parker is the kid who always gets shit on and always picks himself back up because he has to do what he has to do. He always feels that responsibility to be the bigger person, to be the hero.
Because with great power,
well, no,
comes
just
great
regardless of
responsibility.
what's always happening to him, he can always pull himself
Yeah.
through it. That's the key part of what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. But when you remove that, and you've got the basis of the animated series, that builds the crowd around, like, say, the Tobey Maguire series. Now, they did it right. They
did it perfect.
They had
mixture.
him getting shit on more in the movies than he did in the series. But I think they overcorrected was the problem.
Yeah.
Because they didn't quite get Spider-Man right at that point. And I'm not talking about the organic web shooters, whatever, separate universe explains
as far
that
as
away. but
personality
still.
goes, I don't know. I guess that's where the differences start to come into plays with Spider-Man. I enjoyed his Spider-Man. As Spider-Man, his personality, I personally thought was spot on. Again, you come to that point to where he's smart enough to show maturity, but because he is Spider-Man, he's kind of he's got this gimmick now that he's got to.
Well, he was too
especially when you're
serious with
showing off. You can't even me personally. I'd sit there and say if I had powers the way like any kind of powers, it doesn't have to be Spider-Man powers, and I'm fighting crime. I'm gonna make jokes because I know I can kick your fucking ass. I've got the power to do so. It's gonna be funny to me, and that's why when he's Spider-Man, I don't see a Spider-Man that's always joking at all. There's many times in the Raimi trilogy where he's super serious, and then there's that one quip. Oh, later on, there's another quip here, and it doesn't happen consistently like it does in the Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland. I'm glad that they did that with Tobey's Spider-Man, and Tobey's Spider-Man is like that because I think the whole funny moments gets old. This is Spider-Man. He is a superhero. He is supposed to be serious, and then when he's kicking ass, make a joke.
But he's not supposed to be that serious.
It
feels like what they did was they tried to combine Spider-Man with what drew people to Batman. Just minus all the money and gadgets.
That. No, I get that. And then,
I mean, it was a smart thing to do at the time because Batman will always rake in money at the box office, no matter how shitty the movie is. It's fucking Batman.
I'm excited for this new one, just saying.
Well, I mean, Batman Forever.
Oh, yeah. Bat nipples.
Still made money because it was a Batman movie.
Bat nipples.
Still made money because it was a Batman movie.
He's got a Batman credit card.
But it's still Batman Forever.
Bat nipples. I'm so glad you can't give Spider-Man nipples.
I mean, you could try.
Fucking, I would be pissed. I would be beyond fucking livid if they gave Spider-Man nipples. Who gives Spider-Man nipples?
I don't know. You brought it up.
Nipples. But no, Tobey Maguire's my favorite, hands down. There's no argument for me because of the like I said, Tobey brought so much more nostalgic factor to the role.
Well, yeah, I understand that. Well,
anybody else?
The thing is, Andy can capture the essence of a wisecracking kid from Queens who can finally be that wisecracking kid from Queens because he doesn't have to be as reserved with the mask.
As Spider-Man, I loved Andrew. I did. I loved him, especially his movement, the flow that he brought. You know, he knew I've got the spider powers. I could crawl on walls. I can jump. I can lift double my weight. I've been bit by a spider. And when he is in that, I guess, Spider-Man mode with the suit on, one video I watched that really gives a good point is when he's fighting Lizard in the school, in his high school, and the way he's crawling around Lizard, webbing him up like a spider would, putting him in this cocoon, or the way he swings and flows or crawls on walls. It's awesome. He's taking Spider and Spider-Man seriously.
It really feels like what comic book Spider-Man would do if he jumped off the page.
Yeah, and we lose that with Tom Holland. Don't get me wrong, Tom Holland is an amazing actor. I love the work that he's done, even outside of Spider-Man. He's not a horrible Spider-Man or Peter Parker.
Tom Holland's problems are almost not Tom Holland's problems. Because here's the thing. Number one, Tom Holland will forever look too young to play whatever role he's playing.
Especially now that we're at a high school for him.
Right. And he can't help that. That's not his fault. I don't fault him.
Now, granted, they saved themselves after Endgame. They did. For the Far From Home movie, they saved themselves with this one because, he was part of the blip. So he didn't age.
Yeah, but going forward, how do you fix that?
Right.
Because here he is coming out as Nathan Drake in Uncharted, looking exactly the same.
Ridiculous.
Like he's 12 years old and a treasure hunter. It doesn't work.
They wanted to do that, and I could see where they get...
He captures the attitude of Nathan pretty well.
That, and he captures... Visually, he captures a younger version of... that's what they should do, because I don't know. I haven't read too much into the new Uncharted movie. If it's like a prequel to the game, like before the game start, kind of like what they're doing with the new Batman.
I don't know, because I don't remember when he met Sully.
I don't know either. I didn't play much of the Uncharted games, but where I'm going with this. So, like, what they're doing with the new Batman movie, everybody's pissed off about Patterson being the new Bruce Wayne. I'm excited for it. And the reason why is because this is the beginning. Oh, there's not enough action into it. We got like they're saying there's only like a couple action scenes in the movie. Well, exactly, because this is.
I got some bad news for you.
What?
Don't put much stock in Patterson, because on one hand, you've got the fact that he will come out openly and say, I'm not working out to play Batman, even though Batman Year One is already near peak physical strength and should be fucking working out.
I get that.
He should actually fill out that fucking costume and not look like a twig. But on the other hand, on the development side, this is Earth 2, and it's about to be written out of continuity by the Flash movie, meaning they're not coming back.
I know. But what I'm excited for, and it's not working out or filling the suit or anything like that, but everybody's talking, he's too young, there's not a lot of action. Well, if you take a look back into Batman's origins, like the beginning comics, we started out with the Detective Comics.
Yeah.
He wasn't much of a crime fighter back then. He really wasn't. I mean, I think it was one out of
mysteries.
Exactly, he was one out of, I think, every six or seven comics that he actually did any fighting at all, because he wasn't a crime fighter.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true.
And
he held someone at gunpoint in his first volume.
I know, but for me, this is supposed to be a somewhat origin story for Batman. And so I think Patterson fits the role perfect. He's young. He's got the look of this, playboy billionaire that has not a care in the world. He's still kind of going through, I'm finally of age to take over the company. I'm dealing with all this bullshit, but I want to do more. And then he becomes Batman. And that's when he starts working out and, kind of like what they did with what's his name that played Batman? Forgot his name.
Ben Affleck?
No, the one before that.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. I said Christopher. That's what I just forgot his last name.
Christian.
Still Christian Christopher. Shut up. It's the same kind of story plot where they're like, he's already older. He hasn't become Batman. It's Bruce Wayne turning into Batman, not what they're doing in Gotham, where he's turning into this Batman figure at an early age, because that's not how it happened at all.
Gotham. I'm
just saying.
Gotham.
I'm using a shitty show to justify something that should, hopefully, something I have hopes for, be good.
Well, here's the thing. My bigger issue with Robert Pattinson himself, not the studio, not the writing, not anything that's
I
making
want some
the movie,
lunch.
just
I want Taco Bell. Come bring me Taco Bell. Sorry. Somebody said they were cooking lunch.
Who's cooking lunch?
Durf. I'll fill you in on who he is.
I can't see the Twitch chat.
Oh, it's on Twitch. I'll fill you on who he is. You know him. He knows you, believe it or not. And we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
He's making lunch.
Anyways, so with Robert Pattinson, I have the same problem as I have with Chris Hemsworth. Now, these are two very different actors with two very different acting styles, but my problem with them is exactly the same. It's the fact that they're being brought in, they're being paid to act as a comic book hero. Now, keyword there is comic. That doesn't necessarily mean funny. What that means is it's art on a goddamn page. Before anyone decided to animate anything, before anyone put on a real costume, all these people had were word bubbles for speech, not even an accent, no affectation
and the
to their
reader's
voice.
Imagination to create that voice. But
But outside, no. What they had was the image, the entire aesthetic of what made the character. Chris Hemsworth wore the helmet for the beginning of his first Thor movie. He has not put it on since. He wore that makeshift Thor helmet in Ragnarok
Yeah.
for a very short amount of time, but he doesn't want to wear it because he finds it uncomfortable. Chris Evans has the same problem with his fucking helmet.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care if they have a problem with it. This is the character they're supposed to play. Look like the fucking character, whether or not you're gonna sound like the fucking character.
Let's get back on Marvel, since we're talking about helmets, and I'm going to continue that, but let's stay on Marvel, though, because we're talking about Marvel. Even though, again, I've got high hopes for Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne. At least Bruce Wayne. I don't know about Batman, but
Well, that's
got high hopes for his Bruce Wayne.
that problem itself translates into the development side and encapsulates a lot of the problems I have when it comes to the Sony Spider-Man movies.
That's what I was getting to. So, talking about how actually, both Chris's have problems with their helmets. Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, and hell, even what's the guy's name that's playing Ant-Man?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. None of that is CGI, except for a little bit of Iron Man.
No. That's not true. What Robert wears is somewhat plastic shoulder pads. The rest the rest of it's CGI.
The first two movies, he wore a half helmet, and the CGI didn't mask. And they got rid of that because, yes...
That wasn't in all the scenes. That was just for certain parts of certain scenes.
But he still did it. They didn't just do away with it because, it's uncomfortable, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Well, there's a difference here. There's a difference, and a huge one.
I mean...
When it comes to Iron Man and Ant-Man, their heads are entirely covered.
Still, imagine your face being, all the Spider-Man. All three of them. Wear that mask for hours to shoot their movies. And you're going to bitch about it.
They're stuntmen.
Even Tom Holland, I've seen it. Tobey Maguire wore most. He did most of his stunts anyway. But they have that hard shell face mask that they use to kind of give the form, unless they're talking, and then they do that half thing so they can see the
chin.
The chin move. But they all wear those for hours on end. A face mask. And you're going to bitch about a helmet?
Yeah, something you can easily take off between takes.
Exactly. And to Thor, Chris Hemsworth, if you ever listen to this,
He never will.
learn to fucking catch your fucking hammer before you bitch about a helmet. Have you seen those
in all
bloopers?
fairness, that blooper was fucking funny, though.
God, it better not be, because I've got 4 fucking of them that I did with the goddamn heads off. Okay? I had one run out in the street at the fucking park, so they're driving.
Sorry about that. Wife came in. But yeah, that was funny. Blooper galore. But no, so Spider-Man No Way Home.
We're going to have to stay on track for this one.
Yeah.
A lot of the problems with the plot are all about time. That's really what it comes down to. And
It was rushed.
No, it wasn't rushed.
I feel it was rushed.
Neither the development nor the pacing of the movie were rushed. It all went its course the way it should have. But when you're building a story around fan service for the sake of fan service, then you have to take liberties with what you've done. Now, taking all of these villains and bringing in the 2 Spider-Men, all from different points in time, even though they're from the same universe, and it's supposed to be anyone who knows that Peter Parker as Spider-Man is coming in, even the people who apparently didn't know that Peter Parker as Spider-Man are coming in because Electro didn't fucking know, which was a plot point at the end of the goddamn movie. I kind of thought you were black.
Right.
How did you not know and still make it to this fucking Earth?
Because they had the Sinister Six. That's all it was. Finally, we get a Sinister Six, even though it wasn't Sinister Six at all. We got half the team in a tree.
No. What this is you've got fan service for the sake of fan service with the other Spider-Men and some of their villains. And then you've got trying to make up for past sins when they tried to pull the wool over everybody's eyes with Mysterio in the last movie.
Yeah.
Pretend that the multiverse exists, realize that that's what everyone wanted in the first place, and then retcon it in with the Loki series. And now, oh, no, the multiverse is really here. We weren't yanking you around. We meant to do this the whole time.
Yeah.
Except I have an article here that I can't fucking show you because I can't get window capture to work.
We'll throw it in the description later on.
It shows
Discord. We'll link Discord in later. We'll throw it in the link for all the articles. We'll throw them in our Discord.
Well, it shows that they didn't actually have plans for the multiverse in this movie at all.
I believe it.
Most likely what they were going to do was Kraven the Hunter. We never got confirmation on that part, but it would have made sense following on the heels of Far From Home. Because the hunt is on for Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Who do you call but the best fucking hunter?
I don't think they should, even though there's talks about Kraven right now.
Kraven is coming in.
I
They
don't
already
think they should do
have
it.
someone cast as Kraven.
I don't think they should do it.
Guess who they cast as Kraven?
Who?
You remember the guy that played Pietro?
No. Yes.
Avengers Age of Ultron?
That might be.
That's who they're getting to play
That
him.
might be okay.
Most likely he's coming from a different universe, and that's how they can explain that he looks like Wanda's
Right.
brother. Although that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No, but that might work out though. That still might work out. However, I still don't think they should do Kraven. I don't think they should do it whatsoever. That should be, if they want to do it, then
If they wanted to do it, it should have been this movie.
yeah, that, or they could just end Tom Holland's Spider-Man now and restart.
No, what they need is some kind of entry point for Miles Morales. That's what they're doing now. So you have Peter Parker go off on his own. Nobody knows who he is. Most likely, Miles is going to get bit. Peter's going to find him. Or maybe Miles is going to find him. Who knows? But there'll be a Spider-Man duo for a little bit, and then Miles has his own movies.
Yeah. Hopefully they do that correctly with... They can do this two different ways if they want to do it right. They can do their own storyline and follow closely to what they did with Into the Spider-Verse. Kind of do the similar plot. Or they do it the way they did it in the comics and do it in Secret Wars.
Almost definitely.
If they want to do it right, that would be the two ways to do it.
Yeah, I don't see another Spider-Man movie coming out until they actually launch some kind of starter for Secret Wars.
That's probably what's going to happen. And they'll do another entry cameo like they did in Civil War, and...
Our time is running out, dude.
It is. It is running out.
But we haven't even really talked about No Way Home much.
Well, and that's...
Let's try to speed run this a little bit.
You've got all the notes, and you've got more to say about this than I do.
Okay, number one. Why the hell does it look like Ned is the only one who's aged during the entire time? No offense to the actor, but if they can put makeup on anybody else, they can put makeup on his ass too. He looks like he's at least 5 years older
might sweat
than
it off.
all of his friends who are in high school with him.
He might sweat it off.
Number two, Zendaya. Look, I haven't seen a movie where she's been able to act. That doesn't mean that she can't act. That just means I haven't seen it. Now, she's trying harder in this one, but Zendaya, in these movies, still can't fucking act. I'm so tired of them pushing this Michelle Jones MJ down our fucking throats. I don't care. Never liked it. Don't want her there. Give us Gwen. Just give us Gwen. If you're not going to give us Mary Jane, give us Gwen. Flash. Same problem I've had with him since he fucking started. This version of Flash makes no goddamn sense. It's even worse now. Why does he want to be Peter's best fucking friend just because he found out he's Spider-Man?
You know why they're trying to do that. I got to jump into that real quick. So I think I figured out why they're doing that the way they're doing it.
So that they can jump straight into Agent Venom?
Exactly. Because they do become really good friends in the Agent Venom when he becomes Agent Venom.
But that's
It's
not
too
till that's not till after
Right.
he's served in the army.
Too
After he's
soon.
done a tour, been injured, learned some responsibility,
Right.
and learned the error of his ways. There's a whole story arc there that Flash needs to follow, and they're not even building that up yet. No, now he's this sympathetic, antagonist to Peter, not to Spider-Man, because his parents are mean to him and expect so much of him. I don't
Boo-hoo.
care.
So are mine.
I don't care. That's not who Flash Thompson is. Even if you're not going to make him a jock, still make him Flash fucking Thompson.
Continue. Keep going. I know you got it in you.
I actually didn't have as much of a problem with the whole college plotline as other people did.
I didn't either.
Now, the reason I say that is because if you don't know that you can do something, obviously the first thought in your head is not going to be to do something. The question I keep hearing being asked is why the hell wouldn't Peter try to talk to the people at MIT about going to college instead of trying to have a spell done, which he totally should have known. But if you don't already know to do that, you don't already know to fucking do that. It's not a thing that exists in your brain. So he went to the first thing that he could think of. That made sense to me. I didn't have a problem with that. I don't understand why people do. Just because somebody else thinks you should know something doesn't mean you do.
I don't know. All in all, I think as far as the storyline goes with Spider-Man, and we've talked about this before, I think they should have stuck with the roots. They should have taken notes from, again, give credit where credit is due, best Spider-Man in the world, Raimi. They should have taken notes from the Raimi verse and did the storyline that way. Instead of doing MJ, though, they should have done Gwen. I know why they didn't. Whatever. Fucking copyright. They've got licensing, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
No. It's not that, but it's...
But they should have done it that way. They should have done it
The reason
where
why
it's-
she's there delves into issues that we don't have this channel to cover,
Yeah.
and that's politics. We're not touching politics.
But that's the way they should have done it. End of discussion. Raimi versus King. Period. It's just the way it is. But we don't got time for that. We are actually out of time. I want to thank, personally, everybody for watching for the first episode, sticking with us. To everybody that's going to watch later, we appreciate you, too. You got anything you want to say?
I know it seems like kind of a cop-out because we didn't really go into No Way Home for as long as we wanted to. But,
We can always touch on it later.
yeah, next week I think what we'll do is we'll come back to it. We'll just dive into that straight away, try to stay actually on track for that one. What are you thinking talking about next week? I'm thinking
I don't know yet.
some
We'll
Halo,
figure that one out.
Halo news-ish things.
Yeah, I haven't heard about Halo news in forever. I don't have an Xbox anymore, so hopefully that'll change soon. But still, we'll
then,
delve
yeah.
more into gaming because we got way too much into gaming this one, and I think that's our passion more than anything. Is
Right.
Video games.
Which actually, speaking of, another topic I had in mind for next week is Sonic 2.
I've got it. We can play it too.
Not the video game.
Oh, the movie. Okay. We can still play Sonic while we do that.
But the games are super, super relevant, so we can get off track with being on track, and it's amazing.
Yep. But no, all descriptions will be
All descriptions
all
and the
the
links.
all the links will be in the description for everything. We'll go
You
ahead
heard
and
it.
throw
You
in-
heard it. All the descriptions and
in the
links.
description. Yep. We'll throw all our links in the description below. That way you guys can get to our Discord and all that other stuff. We'll put the links to the articles in the Discord, and all of our social medias as well. Are there already? Even for the group page?
For Facebook, yes. For Discord, it hasn't been set up yet.
Okay. I thought it was. At least I know it is on YouTube.
Yes.
If you go to the About page, you'll find it on YouTube. But that is all the time we have. Thank you again, and we will see you in the
Next
next
week.
video, guys.
Bye.